Before we start programming, I first want to show you how this program will work. So let's execute sine and angle. And let's say our angle B is 46, side B equals 7.5, and our side A is 9. And angle A is about 59.67. So now let's try using this program to find a side length. So side, and let's say this time our angle B is 89, our side B is 15, and angle A 6. And there we go. We find our side A to be about 1.56. And this program is 100% accurate. Hello guys, and today we are going to be making a law of sines calculator program that can find both the angle measure and the side length using the law of sines. Implementing the law of sines can sometimes be tedious, and this program can quicken up that process and will also be 100% accurate. And as always, you can pause the video at any time and take a look at the key press history below. And let's start. So for any calculator program, we have 3 basic steps that we have to follow: asking the user for input, implementing the formula, and finally displaying the output. So let's start by first creating a new program. So program, create new, and I'm going to name this program sine, simply sine, and you can choose another name, but be aware of the 7-letter constraint. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is simply clear the home screen. And this is simply going to erase any work that you had before whenever we execute this program. And now we're going to create a menu. And what a menu does is it gives the user 2 options. And in this program, those 2 options will be either finding the angle or finding the side. So inside our menu, we first need to ask a question. And that question is, what do you need to find? And question mark and end with double quotes. And now this comma we put here is very important. And now we can start making our options. And our first option, remember, is option number 1 is the angle. So our angle. And again, comma. And this is option 1, so we're simply going to put a 1 here. And again, now we can start with our option number 2, and that is our side. So our side. And this is option number 2. All right, so now we can start asking the user for input, implementing the formula, and displaying the output. And to do that, first, we are going to create something called a label, and this is label 1. And everything under label 1 will be our program for finding the angle using the law of sines. And angle is option number 1, and so everything under label 1, and that makes sense. So remember, our first step is to ask for input. And input, and we're going to ask for angle B. Angle B. Angle B. And now we are going to store the input for angle B. So whatever the user says is their angle B, we're going to store that as a letter variable. So I'm going to go with B, and you can choose any letter you want as your variable. And I'm just going to use B for this program. And now the same thing for side B. So again, input, side B. And again, another variable, and let's say D. And finally, we're going to ask for side A. So side A. Just like that. And for this, let's say our variable is C. So now we can start implementing our formula, and this step is pretty straightforward. So our formula goes as open parentheses, the sine of angle B, and we said our angle B was the variable called B. So our angle B, close parentheses, multiplied by our side A, which we said was C, divided by open parentheses D, which is our side B. And now all of this we're going to store as another variable, and using this STO with an arrow, we're going to store this, and I'm going to say Z. But we are not done yet, because if we try to run this program as it is, so let's try that real quick. Program execute sine and angle, and let's say our angle B is 45, our side B is 9, and our side A is 7. We find here, our angle A cannot be 0.5499, right? So let's see what we did wrong here. So program edit sine. So what we're missing is simply converting our Z, which is our answer, back into degrees. So to do that, we need to use the sine -1 of Z. And now we can store this as another variable, and STO, and I'm going to store this as A. And now we can go ahead with our last step, and that's simply to display. So go under I/O, display, and to make it easier for the user, display angle A as, and now we just put a comma and our variable A. And we're not done yet. We have one last thing we need to do, and that is to simply stop the program after we display our answer. Alright, now that we finished making the program for finding the angle using the law of sines, we can move on to our side. And again, we're going to use our label, and this time label 2, because everything under label 2 is going to be our program for finding the side using the law of sines. So again, we're going to ask the user for input, and this time we're going to ask the user for angle B, and our angle B is going to be stored as a variable called B. So the same thing we did above. And again, we're going to ask for our side B. So again, side B. And this will be stored as the variable D. And now the step that we're going to change is our input now is going to be for angle A instead. So we're actually going to be asking for angle A. And that's going to be the only change whenever we're asking for input. And I'm going to store this as C. And now we can start implementing the formula, and it's also pretty straightforward. And it goes as open parentheses, the sine of angle A, which is our C, right? Close parentheses, times D, so our side B, divided by the open parentheses, the sine of angle B, which is just our B. And now we're going to store this as a variable, so STO, and I'm going to go with A. And now our answer A is already in degrees, so we don't need to use this sine -1 anymore. And our last step is pretty simple. Again, just going to display. So display, and this time we're going to display side A. So side A is, and comma A. And there you have it, your very own 100% functional and accurate calculator program to find angles and sides using the law of sines. Check out our other videos. We have videos on programming your calculator to find the area of any triangle, distance and midpoint, and more. Thanks for watching, subscribe to our channel and leave a like, and we will see you next time on the Axon Files.